Well, the New South Wales state budget was brought down today, as was a Queensland budget. I'll have a look at the Queensland setup tomorrow. But let me say this. Last week, as New South Wales experienced the first taste of an energy crisis, the New South Wales Energy Minister, who wants all fossil fuels abolished by 2030, was forced to go to the Governor to seek authority under the Essential Services Act to declare coal an essential service. With confidence bordering on arrogance, the Energy Minister Keane argued for more investment in renewable energy, when, as I've said repeatedly, we have a surfeit of renewable energy and a deficit of reliable energy. Well, that Energy Minister is also the New South Wales Treasurer, which I don't believe should be the circumstance. I must confess I have been around a long time. I have never read such self-indulgent comments in my life as uttered today by the New South Wales Treasurer about a budget document replete with debt and spending. Yet the Treasurer, Matt Keane, described the budget as, quote, a once-in-a-generation reform budget for the people of New South Wales, unquote. Now, forgive me, but in the language of the pub, that statement could only be described as bullshit. And then this platitudinous nonsense, quote, it invests in helping them reach their hopes and dreams for tomorrow. This is grade 8 stuff. Please find me a chuck bucket. And on $330,000 a year, the Treasurer said, we're betting on our kids because we know investing in our kids and giving them a great education is what sets them up for a great life, unquote. More rubbish. An education system in New South Wales that doesn't come within a bull's roar of the outcomes of comparable overseas countries. An education system that's more about indoctrination than education. But then this, quote, these are investments that will deliver for families today, that will also build a brighter, stronger, prosperous tomorrow, unquote. This is just cliche-ridden nonsense. Net debt set to hit $115 billion in 2025-26. That's net debt, if projections mean anything. And the budget deficit has more than tripled since the half-yearly review in December. Then it was $3.6 billion, now it's $11.3 billion. Well, the Opposition Treasury spokesman is an interesting individual. He's young, he's in the New South Wales Upper House. His name is Daniel Mookhey, Mookhey, obviously, of course, a member of the Labor Party, but he's been in the Upper House since 2015. He is the son of Indian migrants, and he was the first MP to be sworn into an Australian Parliament on a Hindu religious text. He was born in Blacktown, but I like it because he does his homework. And he joins me for the first time. Daniel Mookhey, thank you for your time. You're a very lucky man, Daniel, because you're part of a state which has just had delivered a once-in-a-generation reform budget. Is that how you see it?
That's not how I see it, Alan. What I see is a 12-year-old government that is now spending money hands over fist to solve problems that they've ignored for more than a decade because they are in fear of losing the next election. The short summary of this budget is that it's a buy now, pay later budget. $42 billion of new spending paid for by debt, and then a land tax.
Yes, well, I mean, $42 billion. Now, that's borrowed money, and if interest rates are going up, then the interest costs will be even more significant than otherwise being forecast.
Oh, the interest costs that are hitting New South Wales is explosive. Last year, we paid $2.5 billion worth of interest. By 25-26, we'll be paying close to $6 billion.
So that's more than you spend on TAFE, more than is spent on TAFE, more than is spent on the whole of the police force.